All right, y'all, man. So part two of the city of Galveston response to my public information request. Man, y'all, they sent a bunch of pictures, and then at the bottom, that's where they put all the information, like the laboratory report from DPS, little stuff. Candace Freeman, you know what I mean? Stuff she touched, the crime scene report, just things like that. And those were that's what I was really looking for. I didn't really care too much about the pictures because that wasn't gonna do anything, or it's not what I'm looking for. You know what I mean? I'm looking for laboratory results, anything pertaining to Stephen and events, anything that helped me create this timeline. I find out what happened. So I want to go ahead and get into it. We got it sectioned out, and we're gonna go over each section. So first, we got the DPS submission. So it says, I've used my friend. So it says, all right, this DPS laboratory submission form you just uploaded is actually very important for timeline reconstruction. Let me show you why. Okay, say what it proves. According to the laboratory submission from the Galveston Police Department, and they got the number and offense essay, offense date. Keep these dates in mind. The offense date was 10/5/2013. It says submitting agency Galveston Police Department, submitting officer Pena. Let's just keep it like that. And then it says most importantly, it says the items submitted to DPS were various swabs from the interior of suspect's vehicle, a car. It says black socks from driver's door of suspect vehicle, swabs from keys and lanyard, buccal swabs from Jonathan. It says what's missing from this submission. What's missing from this submission? It says there is no fingernail scrapings listed, no fingernail swabs listed, no victim body swabs listed, no SA kit submission listed here. No clothing from victim listed. Everything submitted in this DPS request is vehicle related, personal elimination standards, your buccal swabs. Says why this matters. Because DPS can only test what is submitted to them. So this raises a major forensic chain of custody question. Where did the fingernail DNA come from? Let's keep going. Because the UTMB same kit was collected 10/5/2013 at 7:55 p.m. It says it was released to Galveston Police Department officer Patton, but this evidence was not shown as submitted to DPS here. It says this submission form shows testing requested for comparison to victim known blood from items collected in the suspect's vehicle. Okay. Then it says that's a totally different evidence stream than fingernail scrapings from victim. There's litigation question this creates. Now the real question becomes, when was the SA kit submitted to DPS? Because you now have proof of UTMB collected fingernail swabs, October 5th, 2013. Y'all stick with me because I ain't gonna lie, I had got a little bit confused catching this stuff, but stick with it. It says released to Galveston Police Department that same night, but this DPS submission shows vehicle evidence submission, your buccal standard submitted. It does not show SAC biological evidence being sent at that time. So remember SAC, S-A-K, we just gonna say SA kit, right? Says meaning either the SAC was submitted later, the fingernail swabs were submitted under a different item number. The fingernail swabs were not submitted until much later, or they were resubmitted prior to 2015 reinterpretation. Says next document you need to know. Hold on, the next document you need now from DPS. Okay. Ask for original laboratory evidence submission sheet for SA kit, fingernail swabs associated with case, and date DPS first received the victim's fingernail scraping swabs for analysis. For analysis. Because if the SAK was submitted after the DA asked for more time, and then interpreted under August 10th, 2015 guidelines, that timeline becomes extremely significant. You're now past the did testing happening phase. You're in the when was the evidence actually sent? When was it analyzed? And was the interpretation changed before the trial phase? So then it says, upload the PS report represents fingernails. Let's say this will connect the chain. So with that being said, that's the first one. That's the DPS submission. Mind you, I didn't sent that. I didn't already sent another clarification to DPS because I have 10 days to send that to DPS also. Well, I had 61 days. So I'm within that 61-day time frame of being able to send clarity letters back to DPS to get clarity. So I sent that because we're trying to figure out this time frame of when the DNA, the fingernail scrapings, were sent to DPS because it seemed like no one knows. So let's keep going. So next we have the incident. So it says, Jonathan, the incident report you just uploaded answers one of the biggest questions we had earlier. And I need you to really understand this part because this is where the chain of custody finally starts to connect. It says page 2. SA kit was collected day 1, right? Then it says it got the number, listed items, SA kit, evidence kit, status, evidence, date 10/5/2013. So now we know a same kit did exist. It was logged into evidence on the same day as the assault. And it says, this is major. On page 12, Officer Patton writes, on 10/5/13 at approximately 7:45 p.m., I was dispatched to JSER in reference to picking up an SA kit. It says, same nurse released 6 bags of evidence and 1 SA evidence collection kit to me. I entered the property into evidence, got the case number, SA kit placed in the refrigerated evidence locker. And it says that means October 5th, 2013, 7:45, the SA kit, which included fingernail scrapings, vaginal swabs, clothing, biological trace evidence, was taken into police custody, logged into a property, refrigerated for preservation. Here's the key point. This tells us the fingernail evidence existed in police custody from October 5th, 2013. Now ask yourself, if DPS didn't reinterpret that that fingernail DNA until October 19th, 2015, your supplemental report, then that biological evidence sat in custody for 2 years before reinterpretation. Just trying to figure this stuff out, dog. So then it says, why this matters legally. It says because now we have, event, the assault, October 5th, 2015. Got the same kit collected October 5th, 2013. Then you have the kit released to police October 5th, 2013. Then you have refrigerated into evidence October 5th, 2013. Then you have, mind you, to skip past that. Now we going to RA 2015. It says new DPS interpretation guidelines, August 10th, 2015. It says supplemental reinterpretation report, October 19th, 2015. So the next question becomes, when did the DPS receive the SA kit? Because police had it in 2013, but the reinterpretation happened in 2015. We keep going. So using guidelines that didn't exist in 2013 or 2014. Okay. Then it goes on to say AD involvement. It says, I spoke with ADA Freeman regarding this investigation. It says, so the prosecutor was already advising on charging decisions, investigation, direction early in the case. Where we are now says, we now know fingernails evidence existed, was preserved October 5th, 2013. Police had custody. ADA involved in investigative stage. DPS later reinterpreted DNA in 2015 without new biological testing. What we need next. So it says from DPS, ask specifically for a date. DPS received items, SA kit, and case number. It says because that date will show was the kit submitted immediately or was it sent closer to the trial or after the DA asked for more time. That's how we connect lab reinterpretation to court delay time. You're now one document away from knowing when DPS actually touched the fingernail evidence. It says upon, hold on, upload the property. So yeah, man. So it's a lot, dog. Hey, y'all can take that in. I also sent that off to DPS too because we got to figure out what's going on with this fingernail stuff. You know, it's a lot, and I sent off two letters, two clarification emails to DPS last night. So we should be hearing back from them in the next 10 business days. So today is February 24th. We should be hearing back from them in the next 10 business days. Also, I sent another one to the DA's office was he sent back a letter too. So I should be hearing back from him in another 10 days. So today is the 24th also. So in another 10 business days, about 2 weeks. So on to part 3.